Okay, today I'm going to talk about PhET, which is a collection of interactive simulations for teaching science. They're all online and they're all free, and you can either watch them by downloading them to your laptop or computer, or you can watch them online for free. These are simulations in physics and chemistry, which is where it originated, but now it's even broadened to earth science, biology, and even math. So these are just great simulations for students to use either for their homework or tutorials, just to relearn or to visually see different concepts, or they're things you can use while lecturing to show examples. So it provides students with an open and exploring environment and experience with these subjects, and it can engage them in the science content because it is so hands-on and it is so minds-on, and most importantly, it's free. So it provides students with examples, which I can show you here. So one thing too is when you're teaching, you can pull up different simulations while teaching. So this one's on concentration. So I'll go up here. I'm going to change drink mix to cobalt to nitrate. And so basically, as you can see, I can add water up here, and then we can add the concentration. So I can shake it like this, and as you can see, the color's changing slightly, but one really cool thing too is you can pull this over, and it'll give you the concentration. You can even change this to a solution instead of a solid, and you can add the concentration that way. So if you look to the right, you can see that concentration number going up. But really cool too, down here you can show how evaporation, how it will change the concentration or how it will increase. You can show how adding water or adding another solution will decrease in concentration. And then of course you can remove the solute, or you can reset. And so the students can kind of play with it, and they can see the different concentrations of each of the different solutes here. So like this one, you can see how much faster and how much higher the concentration is. Okay, moving forward now. So again, not only by providing great examples, but it's one of those things that students can use on their own as well. And it's a great feature of the website is that it's free, but you can also use it for different grade levels. So if you go here by a grade level on the left, you can do elementary school, middle school, high school, or even simulations at the university level. So it doesn't matter if you're teaching kindergarten or if you're teaching AP physics or AP chemistry. There's definitely something here, and definitely a really cool interactive simulation for you to use for your students when teaching. Sometimes it can be hard for students of any age to understand a lecture or PowerPoint, especially in science. It's a little harder to grasp concepts when you're not seeing the science or when you're not performing or doing the science. So PhET helps students see the system and understand the science by getting to do the science without the cost. So another great thing about PhET is that it's just easy to use and it's free to use. It avoids hazards in the lab. So if you're teaching chemistry concepts, sometimes there's a lot of chemicals that can be dangerous to your students. But you can definitely, again, like I was showing you in the concentration lab, you get to use and see the different effects of the different chemicals without actually having them in your lab. So you can still see how concentration is affected, but you don't have to have the hazards in the lab or the fees of the lab. So it's actually cheaper as well because, again, this is free online. You also get to avoid students falling behind. So basically with the different simulations, students can go back and watch simulations over and over again. So let's say I had a hard time looking at battery resistors and I couldn't really see how voltage and how electrons traveled through a battery. I could just watch this over and over again. I could change the voltage to see the changes over and over again, even in temperature at the bottom. I can just use this one simulation and I can watch it and I can change different things as long as I wanted to until I understood the concept, which is a great tool and really nice for students who have a harder time seeing and understanding science. And again, here, if you look on the left side, it'll show you all the different subjects they have, all the different grade levels, and different devices that you can use on this website. Another really, really cool thing about PhET is that you can even go to translate your simulations. So especially in Texas, we have a lot of Spanish-speaking students. So sometimes these science-specific terms are hard to understand or difficult for them to understand all the time. So if you translate their different simulations, sometimes it's easier for them to pick up, and so they can understand and see the science and then refer it back to English and see where maybe there could be a miscommunication. But it's there for all students, and virtually you could use PhET worldwide. And then lastly, I think a really, really great thing about this website is that it has a separate site for teachers to use. So it'll teach you basically about PhET, and it even has tips for using PhET. So if you scroll down here, you can see the different tips. You can browse activities, you can share your own activities, but here it has different ways to plan by using PhET in your classroom, how to use PhET in your lectures, how to have interactive lecture demonstrations, how to use clickers with PhET, how to design different activities for virtually any grade level, and then you can even take a virtual PhET workshop, and you can learn how to use it and what's going to be the most effective use in your own classroom.